All right, Mavs fans, I want to know who the real fans are on Dallas Mavericks today. If you are a true Dallas Mavericks fan, then type MFFL down in the comment section. If you watch this video and don't type it, well, you're not a real MFFL. That's all I got to say. So let's get the comment section flowing. Spam MFFL. And hey, we got some fresh rumors coming up right now. Dallas Mavericks Today is presented by Aura, your all-in-one digital safety provider to stay safe and secure online. You got to avoid those hackers, and you can today at aura.com/chatsports, 14-day free trial right there. We'll talk more about the benefits later on in the show. All right, let's get you guys caught up on the latest Dallas Mavericks rumors, stuff circulating, as things have been quiet, but there's some juicy stuff out there today that I wanted to bring to the program, including the idea of signing Russell Westbrook. And I already see the comments now. Harrison, he's under contract. You can't sign him. Well, there's been some chatter. He could get traded, and especially if he's part of a Kyrie Irving trade, Brooklyn would likely buy him out. So if that ends up being the case, then he could be free to sign with another team. Fan Nation threw it out there that if Westbrook ultimately does get bought out, Dallas should pursue, which I almost get because the Mavericks do need a bench playmaker. I personally just don't want anything to do with Russell Westbrook. Now, obviously, Russell Westbrook is a better player than Jaden Hardy right now or Frank Ntilikina, but I just can't get behind bringing Russ on board, although the raw numbers would say this would be one of the best bench guards in the NBA, but we all know what the deal is with Russ. Yes, he'll put up numbers. He'll score. He'll dish. He'll rebound. He's not going to make threes, but he can, average close to a triple-double still. He still puts up the stats. The problem is the stats are very empty at this point in his career. He ruins chemistry. He's not a winning piece. Until he gets it through his head that he needs to take on a lesser role and be more of a key contributor, I think if he could just become more of a distributing point guard, a pass-first point guard that came off the bench, he could be a good player for a team, but he doesn't view himself that way. He thinks he's still a 25, 10, and 10 guy that can carry a team to a deep playoff run, and the reality is that's just not reality. So I don't want Russ, even if he gets bought out and is cheap. I'm not interested. I would rather go in a different direction with a bench point guard, which, albeit, and I'll admit, the Mavs don't really have right now, with Spencer Dinwiddie apparently going to start. So do you have any interest in Russell Westbrook? I've made it very clear. I do not have interest in Russ. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Pen comment on today's video. Do you have any interest in Russell Westbrook? Let's go from one point guard to another. That is Mike Conley. Could the Mavs trade for the veteran point guard who they've been interested in the past? Report out there that Conley is on the trade block. This coming out of Utah, as obviously the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors continue to circulate. And if they trade D-Mitch, then keeping 35-year-old Mike Conley doesn't make sense. So trading him could be in the cards as well. A part of that report is that the Jazz have apparently already spoken to some teams about the guard. Those teams were not mentioned, so I'm not sure if Dallas has been one of those or not. Does have 2 years left on his deal at age 35 and age 36. This is how his contract looks. $22.68 million this upcoming year, almost $24.5 million the next year, albeit $10 million of that is non-guaranteed, so you could cut him and save $10 million or so, with only $14.3 million being guaranteed. Then he's a free agent the year after that. I've always liked Mike Conley. Now, it's fairly pricey for a guy who would probably come off your bench. He did not play well at all in that playoff series against the Mavericks. I thought that was about as bad as I've ever seen Mike Conley play. But as a solid backup point guard, I mean, you bring him off the bench with Tim Hardaway Jr. in your backcourt, that's a pretty good backcourt 1-2 punch of Conley and Hardaway at the 1 and the 2. So I could get behind that. 22, 23, 24 million, that's a lot. But you got some contracts that you could match, and we'll show you that here in a second in a trade idea that I cooked up. But first I want to ask you this. Would you trade for Mike Conley? Are you interested in doing that? Type T for trade, type P for pass. I probably am, because he only has 2 years left on his deal, and let's say he came here and averaged 12 and 5 off the bench, shot 43, 44% from the field, 38% from three. I think we'd all be on board with that as a backup point guard. T for trade, P for pass. Would you trade for Mike Conley? Now, before we take a look at a trade idea I cooked up, Aura is sponsoring today's show, and I've been thrilled ever since I've been with Aura because we do more online than ever. I just went on an international trip, and I was a little bit concerned heading into it about, my online banking. Am I going to get hacked? Am I not going to be able to have access to my credit card on my trip? But with Aura, they monitored all my online activity, and if any suspicious stuff popped up, they would have sent me alerts. So luckily that did not happen, but I knew I was secure with Aura, and you can be as well. ID theft protection, financial fraud protection, overall digital safety. Get started today. Aura.com/chatsports. Plus, family plans up to 5 people. Get your brother, your sister, grandma, and grandpa on the plan and help them stay secure also. Aura.com/chatsports. 14-day free trial with that link below. It'll be in the comments and in the description. You look at Conley's past 4 years. Obviously, he's not going to give you 21-6, which is what he was doing with Memphis a few years ago. But you look the last couple years, basically the last 3 years, he's averaged about 15-5 and shot about 38-39% from 3 on average. If you got even a couple points less, like say it's more like last year, 13, 14 points, 5, 6 assists, 40% three-point shooter, yeah, I'm in. You need a third playmaker after Luka and Spencer Dinwiddie. I think Jaden Hardy showed in the Summer League. Yeah, he's an exciting young player. He's probably a year or two away, though, realistically. I don't think he is going to be a guy giving you heavy minutes as a rookie. Mike Conley can give you 25 minutes a game still, though, if you need him to. He can absolutely do that. This is the Mavs projected lineup right now, so you kind of figure where a guy like Mike Conley would fit in. You look at that bench unit, there's not really a point guard there. You need that point guard. So you could have a bench unit of Conley, Hardaway, maybe Josh Green plays the 3 on that bench unit, Christian Wood and a Maxi Kleber coming off the bench. Yeah, that's not bad. You got Frank Ntilikina, Dwight Powell in the mix as well. So you would be very, very deep if that were the case. Now, he's not going to give you what Jalen Brunson did, but I think it would be a net positive with adding guys like Christian Wood, JaVale McGee to help bolster that front court. Get Conley, who can be, 70% of what Jalen Brunson was, and then I think you'd be in a pretty good spot overall. So here's a trade idea. To make the money work, and I put this in the trade machine, it all adds up. Mike Conley in a second to Dallas for Davis Bertans, Josh Green, Frank Ntilikina, and then a 2027 first, because I think you're going to have to give the Jazz a pick as they continue to unload these players. But you get a second back overall. Bertans, Ntilikina, and Green, I don't think you're losing anything major there. Overall, and a first-round pick 5 years from now, okay, that's fine. I don't know if Conley's worth the first at this point, but you got to give the Utah something to make it work. You get a second back, so a little bit of draft ammo for next year. Who wins this trade? What do you think? Type DAL for the Mavs, type UTA for the Utah Jazz. I'd do this trade. I would do this trade. I think a 3-point guard trio of Luka Doncic, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Mike Conley. I think that's pretty solid overall. Speaking of point guards, JJ Barea, he is officially retired from basketball. He's kind of been retired from the NBA for a couple of years, nothing officially, but hasn't played since the 1920 season, but was still playing some international hoops, playing for the Puerto Rican national team. He has decided to officially hang them up, and hey, what can you say? You want to talk about maximizing a career? JJ Barea maximized his basketball career. A great player for the Mavs, a legend. He was critical in the 2011 run in winning a title. Then his second stint, he came back and did some really good things as well, playing with Dirk in the twilight of his career and helping Luka early on with him as well. He's a Mavs legend. I don't know if he did enough in Dallas to get his jersey in the rafters necessarily, but he's definitely an all-time great for this franchise, a fan favorite, and wish him nothing but the best. And who knows, maybe a future assistant coach for this team. I would not completely rule that out. Him and Jason Kidd are tight, so glad to see him walking away finally on his own terms, and best of luck to him in his future endeavors. Maybe, just maybe, those endeavors are with the Mavericks. All right, show Barea some love as he enters the next chapter as we await to see what that is. Type JJ down in the comments. A true Mavs legend, and I'll never forget his contributions in that 2011 playoff run, and I know you guys won't either. All right, that's it for today's episode of Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. More videos to come. Subscribe, support the channel as we continue to try and reach 20,000 subscribers. Appreciate you guys. I'm Harrison Graham. We'll see you soon here on Dallas Mavericks Today.